Hi, I'm Francina,
I'm Jackie.
and welcome to the Rest, Love, and Justice podcast.
This podcast is an inquiry into whether rest and love and justice can produce transformative social change. The dominant narrative is this overwork and this glorification of it, especially in the justice space. And here, we're going to question that notion.
Come sit with us as we meet our collective humanity and share stories around rest, love, and justice. It is our hope to create a shift that enables us to recognize that racial justice work is a human issue. It affects us all.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Rest, Love, and Justice podcast. I am Jackie Gao with my co-host.
Hello, I'm Francina Cowell.
And we're thrilled to be back with Ed King, Executive Director of Pottery Northwest, amazing artist, award-winning, just visionary, literally the most passionate person I know, an amazing leader in the Seattle community where he's the Executive Director of an amazing ceramic studio nonprofit. So thanks, Ed, for spending more time with us on this podcast.
Thank you. I love it. Having a great time.
Well, we'll jump right into the questions here. We would love to know, what is the most restorative rest practice that you have, and what is restful for you? What have you noticed?
I gotta say, for me, rest is those slow mornings, doing nothing, feeling nothing, and not that I'm not present to the energy around me, but you can let work and stress melt away through embracing silence and breathing, and it's I had said before, it's like stealing those moments is important, but now that kind of rest practice, I'm trying to make it, ever since I've started learning about from your podcast, having a rest plan, I am starting to incorporate intentional moments in my life where I can say, this is a do nothing day. It's a rest day, or this is a do nothing moment. It's a rest moment where I can detach from stress and detach from responsibility and just embrace restoration.
Mm.
When I came in contact with your podcast, a light bulb went off about scheduling it the way you schedule a meeting. It has to be part of your daily routine.
I love that. Thank you. And you make us feel so good that we started a movement that people are like, oh, I'm going to schedule some rest. And I love to see the impact that it's having in your life and hopefully in other people's lives that are listening to this, the importance of really being intentional with embracing your rest practice,
How I know it's working
Mm.
is when I don't do it and I didn't get that scheduled rest and I go a few days or even a week and I haven't done that schedule. And then I go, oh, I can feel not having it.
Mm.
And so it becomes part of, it's like breathing. It just becomes part of the healthy experience.
Wonderful.
And I feel great hearing about you talk about rest. Like, I can feel it in my body. That's why I think these conversations are so important. Like the cadence, the word choice, like you describing those moments, like I can feel that in me too.
Mm.
Like I think that's so amazing. That I think that's why it is a practice that keeps on giving. Like, because it's even the way we describe it, we're able to offer just these moments of rest, even within a podcast recording.
Yeah. And may it be so that we get to a place in our lives that the absence of something that is our birthright, right? That the absence of resting would be noticed, that we need to clamor back to it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I feel like our necessity to rest is connected, just like our necessity to breathe is connected, right? So yeah, may it be so that this movement would continue. I wanted to lean into our next question, that is, how do you embody love? And I realize that's a very broad question, but I want you to kind of maybe give us an answer that's connected to what feels like love in your body, right? And we've had different like people say, oh, it feels like butterfly, it feels like warmth, it feels like, the reason I ask that question so intentionally too is because if you can feel it in your body, you'll know when you're in the presence of love.
That's so difficult because on multiple levels, this isn't a question that gets asked of me in life. And I can only speak from my male perspective, but this is not a question that men talk about. It's not a
Mm.
question my dad's asked. My brothers have not asked this question. Other men in my life, whether it's been locker room, like on the track team, uh, people in my rock bands in the past, no, like the drummer never stopped in practice. I'm like, how do you embody rest? Right. And so it's so difficult to access the answer because it's not been something I've thought about before. Um, what I can tell you is I know when I'm in a when I'm experiencing that um, rest, it's almost like I'm not even inside my body. I'm on a tether. I'm floating very high up from like 50,000 feet, and I'm looking down and going, "Oh, there I am in the room, and I'm doing whatever I'm doing, but it's complete peace and harmony up there,
Mhm.
Mhm.
completely absent from any of the normal daily thoughts of, oh, I gotta go to the grocery store, I gotta do the dishes, I have to have a talk with an employee, I have to do stuff. It's just bliss, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm answering your question. I'm just telling you.
No, but you did answer my question,
Mhm.
because when we're asking about love and you naming that the men in your life and most men don't access what love feels like in their body is the answer. And that is the beginning, right? That maybe you can begin to do that exploration for yourself as you
You know,
sit with yourself. Even if you mentioned self love, right? Self love begins with, how do you access love in your own body? And how does that feel when you give yourself love?
I haven't been playing guitar, and I'm a lifelong guitarist. I've been in rock bands, on stages, all that stuff. And my friend just the other day asked me about it, and my shoulders dropped, and I just got this depressed kind of feeling. And I realized that a part of what maybe we could consider the rest practice, the guitar playing, is probably the most meditative state that I experience as a creative. Um, and I notice that I'm not playing. I notice that I'm not achieving that bliss because it's not present in my life. And it's work. You got to do stuff. But when
Hmm.
I'm doing it, I'm actually not present to it. I'm up there
Hmm.
Mhm.
when it's coming out of me, right? When the music is flowing, I'm not even inside my body. And I don't know if that's something that you can identify with. It's just
I can actually, because
okay.
I
So
also play the guitar, and
boom.
I have that connection to music as well. And the nature of what love, like my life has been most recently, is that I've not been making much music, playing the piano, guitar, or singing for that matter. And even as you were speaking, I felt like I needed to bring this forward, that maybe access for love for ourselves is leaning into the things that really light us up, that make us feel
Yeah,
like we're floating,
yeah.
and leaning into a practice where we engage with the things that we love so we can access the love that we have within ourselves for ourselves, right? And then that
Absolutely.
overflows to the community, right? So yeah, thank you for bringing that forward. And so there is no wrong way to answer the question. Um, so thank you for that.
I
Yeah.
guess should we have like the traditional meditative practices? Like I need an ashram or a yoga practice, or I have to be in a temple, right? I have to light incense, or could it be I need my guitar
Yeah.
and it's just the medium, right? So the
Right.
guitar is just my medium. Like, could we redefine what that meditative practice is?
Yeah.
Right.
Love it.
And I would challenge us too, like, even if you're listening to this podcast right now, and for you, Ed, when you pick up your guitar, playing it and paying attention as you play, even closing your eyes and feeling what does that feel like in your body
Mm,
is a way to access what love feels like in your body,
mm,
right? Like
mm.
for me, I feel like I have this like portal on my head that just opens up and the light just starts coming through it, right?
That's
Because
good.
it's like, ah, like I've accessed a part of myself that connects with my love for myself and embracing something that I love,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So, anyways,
Yeah.
Jackie, do you want to get our next question?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Ed. I can connect as well with that kind of flow state, I guess maybe people call it, in terms of just like, yeah, being feeling good, feeling light, feeling
Mm-hmm.
above this like 3D world we're in, to just be able to access something different. So thank you for
100%.
that. And yeah, and I mean, Ed, you and I are working on on a really cool project, a few cool projects, but um, how are you living out justice? So I know the answer to this question in terms of our realm, but I would love to just, yeah, hear how are you living out justice in your life, and anything you want to share on justice.
I would think that after all these years and after all the struggles and interactions, let's just put it that way, with so many people, I think right now I am unapologetically in pursuit of
Mm-hmm.
justice. That's how I'm living it, unapologetically,
Mm-hmm.
full bodied, full throated, right? And it shows up in life. It shows up in work. It's again, it's that repetitive practice where it's like now it's muscle memory, right? And to not be afraid to have conversations or to challenge people or to say, okay, let's go there. Let's actually unpack what's being said in this room. And I feel like not there's such a freedom from not caring how others will define me
Mm,
in pursuit of truth, in pursuit of justice, which is a huge barrier for me and others. It has been a huge barrier of what will they think, or will they be disappointed? Will I be fired? Right? If I
mm,
say something that is not in alignment,
mm,
it's not in alignment with popular view. Popular view might not be what's right,
mm.
but it
Say
could,
that again for the people in the back.
like, look, let's go back. Everybody loves Martin Luther King Day today, but during his time, 70% of Americans did not agree with his
Mm,
platform.
mm, mm.
Most of America was wrong on history, was wrong on the future direction of the country, was wrong on morals.
Yeah.
And so, are we even having the right discussion? You might be talking about one thing, I might be talking about another. It's possible we're not even having the same argument about justice when I'm talking to people.
Wow. Wow. Like I'm gobsmacked and also just like sitting with so much of what you said. And the two words that keep coming back is I'm full throated and full bodied
Gotta
in
be all
pursuit.
in,
Mhm.
all in.
It's a beautiful, beautiful metaphor for what this looks like. And for our white listeners listening to this, maybe asking the question, am I full throated and full bodied? Because full throated, that's your voice. What is your voice, saying? And how are you accessing spaces that make equity something that is for everybody? Right. And full bodied, how does your body show up in those spaces? I love it.
Mm. And I've been thinking about this conversation Ed, you and I had a while back, about this vision you have for Potter Northwest, and
Yeah.
one of them is to provide childcare for people who want to take classes. And
Mm,
as someone without children, and I know Ed, you don't as well, like, to be thinking about people's accessibility to classes that is not your experience too, like, it brings tears to my eyes, just how you're able to see beyond your experience of like wanting more people to be able to access this beautiful healing space that
Yeah.
is Potter Northwest, that is ceramics, and that the barriers and you want to break those down, like you want to smash them, you want to like throw them to the side for other people. And that I hold when I think about many things in my week of like, how can I think more like Ed King? How can I be like, where are those things that is not my experience, but I would love to help other people be able to access this thing that I have accessibility to. And I just, I love that about you, Ed. And I love your dreams, and I love like standing alongside those dreams and visions, and supporting them as much as I can, and just being your friend. Like, it's
Oh,
just so nice to be texting back and forth, to meet up, and to be able to like just chat about dreams and visions and what we need more of in the world.
be careful, because you're gonna get some weird, freaky thoughts if you want to think like me. It's gonna go some wild places.
Ah.
Uh,
I think I can handle it. I can
strap
handle it.
in. Um, it's so crazy that you said that because last night I'm backpacks on. I'm out the door. I'm like I'm going home, right? And it's a late. It's like 7 something. And mom, 4 kids in our kitchen, and she's been showing up every week with her 4 kids. And finally, I'm like, okay, we got to talk. What can we do for your kids? How can we make, while you're making clay, what can we do for them to make their experience in our kitchen more for them because they're kids? Well, we
Mm.
have all this adult stuff, right? And the motivation for me is not, hey, there's 4 kids, let's turn them into 4 ceramicists. It's how can we make our space relatable and enjoyable and comfortable for them. For Sina, you said that word equity, right?
Mhm.
And I have my little pad here. Equity is not a word. Uh, Equity is a word. It's not a practice, right? And I feel like so many people say the word that are out there and
Mhm.
go, I said it, so I did the work,
Yeah.
right? I put it in on my website. I did the work.
Mm.
I make it part of conversation or whatever. And there's this superficial feeling of equity. And I feel like, no, man, every day, can you have not just one, can you have 10 points of equity, touch points? Can you have 100 touch points of equity? The practice, I think, um, it eliminates the need for the use of the word because you're doing the word, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I had said before that I was so impressed with like those moments where Jackie and I are talking and she'll say something in that equity space where I just go, "Oh my god, what work have you done
Mm.
that has produced this moment where I have to pause and
Mm.
realize you're not like the tsunami, the wave of ignorant comments and microaggressions and all the stuff that's so easy for people to access, and you've kind of chosen to do work that's readily available, but you've done this work, Jackie, that has made me stop and go, "Ooh, I haven't heard a white person say this before.
Mm.
How did you get this?" Right? And um again, you say that you're inspired by me, but you make me stop and pause as well, Jackie, and through your practice, I wonder, is there something that others could learn from that have taken you on this journey?
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I
Ed, thank
also want to
you.
echo the fanning because
Oh.
I get to live my life adjacent to this amazing human being who, she always is like, oh, no, 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 no. It's okay to receive this reflection because the work that you do makes me as a Black woman feel seen, hopeful, excited,
Yeah.
loved, because I see you every day make the choice to learn and undo the wrongs that have created the culture and societies that we live in right now. And I think it's important for us to name that, just like Ed said, the access to the information is there. And I've met so many white people who have this like helplessness almost of like, I don't know what to do. Like, show me what to do. There's so much access. And I just want to thank you, just like Ed is thanking you, Jackie, for choosing to do the work and invite other white people to come on and do that work too.
Mm. I'm really, really speechless and I love that I get to learn from you all too, and I'm so glad it's not a detractive learning, that we're learning together. And I would love to do an episode that is those resources. And
Mm,
and I think my short recommendation, there's so many books, so many movies, like you said, Ed, they're right there. And I think just finding those other white bodies to do the work with, so you're not hurting people of color around you, BIPOC people, like that also are in the game, and that it's lifelong and it's not going to be easy. And just to keep going, like this is multi-generational work of undoing white supremacy within white bodies and all bodies, but we have a lot to work on. And I heard recently the quote of in one of this beautiful book club I'm in about you need to take the responsibility that's equal to your privilege. And that is, as white people, we have so much, so we have a lot of work to do, we have a lot of responsibility to hold. And it's fun too, it can be fun, it can be interesting, we get to like feel and actually see the truth that's out there in the world, which is much better than living in the lies that are surrounding all of us. So
yeah.
yeah,
I
thanks
mean,
for those words.
if people are looking for a quick hit, make it Chimamanda Adichie, make it James Baldwin.
Mm.
If
Yeah.
if you're not a reader and you want movies, make it School Days, Spike Lee, right? School Days, Malcolm X, Do the Right Thing,
Mm,
Bamboozled, which will blow your hair back. It's not one of his most popular films, but um, there's so much out there, and I haven't even touched the equity work. That's just pop culture.
yeah.
Um,
I love this.
Yeah.
I think this should be a trend that with every guest we say, what's your recommendation? Like I
I
would
love that.
love that. And so thank you, Ed, for being like, these are things that are how I see the world and what I think more I wish more people would
Yeah.
read, absorb, digest, all of that. So thank you so much, Ed. That is a
Yeah.
huge gift.
oh, James
Yeah.
Baldwin
Yeah.
is like my soulmate.
Mm,
Still so relevant,
yes.
Yeah.
So much.
so potent, so
Anyways,
topical.
just wanted to thank you, Ed, for being here. We will have in our show notes resources that people can access about the amazing work that you do at Pottery Northwest and ways that they can support your work. We're so grateful that you were on this part 2 episode with us and feel so honored to have been in your beautiful energy and have a window into how you process rest, love, and justice.
Oh
Thank you
no, the
so
honor
much,
is
Ed.
mine. You guys you guys have changed my life. So thank
Mm,
you for the existence of this podcast. Everyone, listen to every episode. It's amazing.
Mm.
thank
Thank you,
you.
Ed. Thanks for your time. I'm just, yeah, I'm so grateful for this conversation, for us to be in this moment, and just for offering your energy into this podcast. So thank you so much. And thank you everyone for tuning in again to the Rest, Love, and Justice podcast. That is all for us today. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
And that is our show for this week. This episode was produced by The City Music. As for me, I'm Jackie Gao, and thanks to my co-host, Francina Call.
May you move through this week embodying rest, love, and justice in ways that are meaningful to you and your community. Thanks for joining us today. Peace and love.